And Dassault System is the distributor of MATLAB in Southeast Asia. Today we are presenting 2020, the new tips to use MATLAB with Python. Example today is how can we integrate MATLAB script and Python together in a team. We are not fighting each other, we are going to work together as a team. And just a little bit housekeeping before we started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type your question into the chat box. I will bring them up at the end of the presentation. And we will also have time for the questions at the end. And kindly remember mute your mic all the time during the webinar. And after this webinar, you'll get the slide or video via the email. Our marketing team will send all the relevant material to you. And last, tell us about how we did in the survey form. We really appreciate your feedback because your feedback will continue us to improve our performance in the future. Okay, before we started, let's talk about some history of MATLAB. So MATLAB started on like 1984. So you can see there is a FFT and graphic in MATLAB. Then after 1 year, they developed a control system toolbox, and another 2 years later, they developed a signal processing toolbox and the ODE solver. That's why you heard a lot of commercial or R&D use case using our tools, especially control system and signal processing domain. So over here, you can see in 1992, one of our biggest product, which is a Simulink, was launched in 1992. Simulink is a graphic representation programming. This is what you can see in Python, and Simulink is inside the MATLAB environment and in the same IDE. If you are coming from the industry like automotive and control, you might realize the powerful of Simulink, especially there are many testing and the verification tools to ensure the programming is in the real time to meet the high safety standard criteria in automotive. Yeah, so in 1993, MATLAB started to have like image processing toolbox and symbolic math toolbox. And undeniably that MATLAB actually is very, very rich in image processing toolbox. MATLAB got a lot of image processing function and algo, but I think you also can observe that in the recent 10 years, you can see open source pick up very aggressively. So actually, personally, I have a webinar in July to discuss about how can MATLAB integrate with OpenCV. You are welcome to join it if you wanted to know how MATLAB integrate with OpenCV. OpenCV is a image processing libraries in open source. I'm not going to explain the last timeline in very detail. So let's talk about some brief history of Python. So Python is founded around like 1992, around 1991 or 1992, around this date. So originally, the Python is only used by a small group of R&D. Okay, and actually, it started to get our attention when after 2010, the launch of the GPU. This is the period of the AI booming. People start to explore how to use AI in our real life to do like face recognition, object detection kind of thing, autonomous vehicle. And during that time, during like 2010, the community was using Python, especially like TensorFlow, to do the research and constantly contribute their idea and the results, the script, back to the community. Then at the end, the AI libraries is becoming very rich in Python. As both MATLAB and Python are high-level programming language. Okay, we can see many people here compare them and choose only one of them for their solution. So actually, my objective for this webinar is wanted you to take away the concept that MATLAB and Python can work together. You don't need to choose one of them. We can work together. Sorry, I'm going too fast. Yeah. Okay, over here there's the link here. This is overview of using MATLAB with Python, and the content today is the content today. This seminar we are going through exactly what the content inside the link. Okay. Over here there's some reason to choose MATLAB over the Python. For marketing strategy wise, MATLAB is targeting engineers, scientists, and researchers. However, for my personal, I feel it's really depend on the case by case. For me, I will choose the best tools for my application and case. It could be MATLAB, it could be Java, it could be Python, and it could be other commercial tools. As long as they work well for your case and minimize your effort. Let me give you some customer reference before we move further. So actually here there's one company called Mitsubishi Tanabe Pharma. They develop data analysis tools to speed the drug discovery. So the content over here, like the algorithms we develop in MATLAB and deploy as applications with help from MathWorks consultants, have enabled us to obtain quantitative analysis results, avoid human error, collaborate more effective, reproduce results reliably, and double the number of feasibility studies completed yearly. So I just want to tell you the key point over here is like MathWorks consultants. So you are not alone in the, if you are using MATLAB, we provide you time to time service. If you got any question, you're always welcome to come back to us. Then you'll try to give the best idea to you and try to give the industry practice and how to utilize the MATLAB wisely and some tips how to use MATLAB. Then the second customer reference here is ASML. I think this is a semiconductor company. They developed virtual metrology technology for semiconductor manufacturing with machine learning. As a process engineer, I had no experience with neural networks or machine learning. I walked through the MATLAB examples to find the best machine learning functions for generating virtual metrology. I could not have done this in C or Python. It would have taken too long to find, validate, and integrate the live packages. So I believe they see a key point, like a few key points here, which is MATLAB examples. MathWorks invest a lot of money to build their example, to find the right person, to write up the example and validate the example before we publish online. So the example is trustable. And the second thing, over here you can see the live packages. I think if you are familiar with Python, you know that you need to ensure your packages, the data type are compatible to each other. So you're able to pass the data from one package to another package. Yeah, but in MATLAB, all the algo and functions are in the same environment. All the toolboxes are using the same data type. So you no need to worry about the compatible of a data type between the toolboxes in MATLAB. You basically are in the same environment. All the toolboxes are developed by the same people, same company, which is a MathWorks. Besides Python, actually MATLAB also capable to integrate with like C, C++, Java, .NET, HTTP. With MATLAB, if let's say you use MATLAB, actually you can reuse the legacy code written in another language, C, C++, Python, Java, .NET, HTTP, create a MATLAB powerful responsive website, or a program hardware using the error-free embedded C code generated directly from MATLAB. If you heard about like our code generation technique, yeah, actually MATLAB can allow you to do code generation to generate the standalone C or C++, the source code, and then deploy directly on the hardware itself. And in a big organization, the team size, usually you can see the teams, different teams, they got different programming language. So actually over here, you are going to tell you that MATLAB can work with a lot of different external language. Okay, and so you no need to like record again in other language. Just want to synchronize them in the same platform. So you can have more time to do the developing the product and less time to record again in another language. Yeah, so there are there are two-way interactive process through the API, which is you can pass the information to the .NET can pass back the information to MATLAB. And or MATLAB can compile their script to the library. So you can compile the script to the Java library, compile the script to a .NET library, compile the .NET assembly, compile the script to a Python packages. So if let's say you compile the script to their library packages, in the server license, in the server machine, actually they are free from the MATLAB license. You no need to have a MATLAB license to run the library or to run the packages. Yeah, you go into more deeper, then you have a better picture what I'm talking about this. Let's move on. So multiple language IT integration usually is very complex and complicated. Therefore, if you have any doubt or any questions, you are always welcome. Come back to us. Welcome to ask us, to write an email to us. We are happy to help you. Let me walk through the agenda today. So before start, I will give you some example overview. And the part one, you're calling Python libraries from MATLAB. And part two, you're calling MATLAB from Python. So you are in the Python environment that we call the MATLAB function. There are three approaches. The first one is a MATLAB engine API. The second one is a MATLAB runtime, MATLAB compiler SDK. And the last one is a MATLAB production server. I think you can see that I got different approaches, right? So I will give you some hints what are the differences between them, and you select the best one for yourself. And some additional information like data management. If let's say you want to integrate MATLAB and Python, what kind of data management you can consider to use, and some advice for you. And deep learning model. If let's say you are doing like deep learning applications, if you're aware of ONNS model, I will give you some information, some introduction about this ONNS model. Personally, in my master project, I got this case study, which is my master assignment. Yeah, so I will demonstrate to you that actually I'm trained the model in MATLAB. Then I put the model on the Python web framework, which is a Flash. So the Flash will run the real-time traffic monitoring. But the deep learning model is trained in MATLAB. And a lot of people you got this question. You ask our company, ask our AE about this question: how to integrate with Anaconda? Yeah, so Anaconda is a very famous IDE to host Python, and give you some information how to troubleshoot and find the right resources to. Here you go. Let's talk about the overview, the example overview today. So for this example, like what are we going to do is we want to predict the stock price. Yeah, stock market is very interesting recently. So I tried to do something like very interesting example. So this example, you want to predict the stock price and then to tell us the decision whether you want to buy or don't want to buy. So definitely you got a front-end developer. So the lady is a front-end developer to handle the HTML, the JavaScript, the CSS, the HTML front-end stuff. And then there's one IT person. IT person, you handle a server, how to read the data from the storage. This is a storage file. Okay, so and this framework is already just assume that this framework is already established by the company. Okay, and then you got a team. The team is the MATLAB researcher. Okay, the MATLAB researcher is will do the machine learning model, the deep learning model to forecast the stock price. Okay, now the question is, how can I get the stock price data in the storage here and pass to the MATLAB to do the machine learning model, to develop the machine learning model. And after I got the model, how can I pass back the result to the Python? And then Python over here pass the result to the front end, the lady, and then display the result in the website. Yeah, so over here, we need to do some integration to integrate Python and MATLAB, which is able to read each other and co-simulate. So the first demo you can see over here. The first demo, what are we going to do to show is the MATLAB researcher here. Okay, so I'll show you that how can we connect the Python and get the stock price data set and import into Python, import into the MATLAB. I'm sorry for that. Then import to MATLAB. After that, develop the algorithm, and then package the algorithm ready for the production to use, and then pass the result of the machine learning model, which is the predicted stock price or predicted buying decision, to the Python server, which is the IT machine. So demo 2 and 3 and 4 will demonstrate the different approaches that we discussed in the agenda. Yeah, so yep. So let's say before I proceed further, if you have any question about this example overview, you can type the question in the chat box. So I try to explain to you about the architecture first before we proceed further. I will stop here for 30 seconds. If you don't have any questions, then you'll proceed further. Yep. Okay, looks great. Seems like everyone understand the setup and the architecture. So let's move to the demo one. Yep. So the demo one is calling Python libraries from MATLAB. If you are observant enough, actually you can see there are many links in my slide, and you're welcome to open it to get more information. So because the session today, the time is limited, so I could not provide the information in very detail to you. So you are encouraged to open the link and to understand the topic further. So let's go for the part one first, how to pass the stock price data to MATLAB. Okay, so Python to MATLAB. Okay, first one. So first, you need to test the connection with Python first. So in MATLAB, right, MATLAB command window, what you need to do is just need to tap the function by version. Okay, then you'll return you the version of Python like 3.6 and the executable, the path, the library, and the home. Okay. However, bear in your mind that actually not all the Python version MATLAB is supported. Is supported. Not all the version that MATLAB support for Python. So actually MATLAB only support the Python version like 2.7, 3.6, 3.7. Let me repeat again. 2.6, 3.6, and 3.7. And can I call Anaconda Python for MATLAB? I got a lot of questions from this, so I would like to explain about this. So in your Anaconda, like the Anaconda prompt here, you tap where Python, then you'll get the executable file of your Python. You take the first line, okay? Then in the commands just now, what I mentioned by version, like what you need to do is you need to specify the location, the path location for your executable file, which is the first line here. So in MATLAB, you just type py version, then bracket, then the path to your executable file for your Python. Yeah, that's all how you connect to your Anaconda Python. So it's very simple. So let's say some packages, some module that in certain file in the Anaconda that could not read by your Python executable here. So what can you do is I just add the path to MATLAB. Yeah, so how can you add the path to MATLAB? You can refer to this link. He'll give you a detailed explanation. How can you work out is the module that could not be called through this function, through this line by version path. Yep. And so the next one, before we proceed into a demo to call the Python libraries from MATLAB, I would like to introduce MATLAB environment to non-MATLAB user here or the Python user here. So you could have a better idea on the demo. So MATLAB has only one environment and one IDE. Okay, Python got a lot of interpreter, a lot of IDEs, so like Anaconda, Eclipse, Visual Studio. And so this is MATLAB. So this MATLAB environment. So you can see over here, this is a path of your working path, and this is a files in the path, and this is a workspace in the path, or workspace for your variable, and this is a script. Okay, if you notice, I discover, right, if you notice, right, you can see this one is quite similar to your Anaconda Jupyter notebook. Okay, so you can put the description, the title, the coding, and then all together in one file, in one script. And MATLAB can allow you to do the script like what Spider, the script like in the Spider, and the script in the Anaconda in the Jupyter notebook. All right, and over here there's a command window. Okay, this is a command window that for the user to key in the command here if you don't want to run the script. On top here, you can see a lot of GUI application. Actually, this is our effort. Our effort want to reduce this is our effort to make the difference between us and the open source. So our objective is want to reduce the engineer effort to don't waste too much time to debug the coding. Instead of that, we got a lot of GUI, then you just walk through the GUI to build an application, and then at the end, you can generate the MATLAB code from the GUI, that what you have done in the apps. Yeah, so the code being generated, you can reuse for your future case or for a big data set. So let's try the connection and try to call the Python built-in function. I recorded my demo in video. So let's see here. Yeah, here you go. So you can see over here, this MATLAB live script. As what I described before, right? You can put the title, the description, and then the coding, and put them together. Okay, and this is a command window. Yeah. So over here, you can see when I tap for the Py version here, the version is a 3.6, which is supported by MATLAB. And this is the location of my executable. Yeah, let me run again. I haven't run the live script. Okay. So actually, when I run again, because now they found the executable from my Anaconda tree. Because in my my window original setting, now I changed the Anaconda tree Python in the higher precedence compared to the other Python executable found in my Windows system. So you realize the highest one. Or if let's say you want to specify the location of your Python executable, this is what you can do. You see this? But if let's say after you run the Py version, like if you want to connect another Python executable, you need to restart the MATLAB again. So over here, tell me that I cannot change, the version cannot be changed in this MATLAB session. To change the version, I need to restart the MATLAB. Yeah, so let's continue. All right. So in Python, let's see, if let's say this is a Python library, math is a Python library. So over here in Python, Python script, usually what you need to do, you need to put the import the Python library, the math. Okay. Then after that, call the math function, and then the square root is inside the math packages. Then 42. This is what we usually do in Python script, but now we want to call the Python library in MATLAB. Okay, so over here, what we're going to do is we're going to assign the result to S. Okay, and then we put the py here, py.math. Py is our Python. It's a mandatory that you need to write. If let's say you want to connect to Python, you need to put the py in front of them. Then the py dot the math is packages of the Python, and then square root is the function inside the packages, and then 4. Yeah. Then you also put the class, visualize the return result in what kind of a data type in MATLAB. Okay, let's continue. Sorry for this. Okay, before we run this session, right, MATLAB can allow you to run session by session. So before we run this session, over here you can see additionally. Okay, so in Python, like the famous data structure like list, tuple, dictionary. So these are famous Python data type. So how can you create a Python data structure in MATLAB? Yeah, so over here I give you one example that how I create the Python data structure in MATLAB. So by doc dictionary, and then by the arguments, then you put the arguments for your dictionary. Do you see this? Yeah. Then after that, I just run this session. Yeah. Okay. Then the return result is double. So actually the return result, like sometimes to MATLAB will auto map them to the MATLAB data type. So your auto help you to convert to the MATLAB data type double for this example. Yeah. So over here you can see you success to create a Python dictionary data type in MATLAB. So the answer, the return to the MATLAB is this is a Python dictionary if no properties, and yeah, this is a Python dictionary data type, the pattern. Okay, I have uploaded my all the video to the YouTube. So let's say you want to watch you get the slide and you want to watch the YouTube the video, then you can double click on the link. Okay, over here you can see, just now you can see I create a Python data type in MATLAB. So the famous Python data type, they are like Python list, Python tuple, Python dictionary, and they give you the example how do you create the Python data type in MATLAB. Okay, like the structure, how you construct the structure for list, for tuple, for dictionary. So important question come into our mind. Why do we need to learn to create the Python data type in MATLAB? Am I right? So why do we need to learn this? Yeah, because actually there's a default data type mapping, which is when you pass the data to Python, then the default data type mapping will help you to automatically convert the data type. Yeah, for example, you pass a numeric number to Python, then Python will read it as a Python data type with a float. So you recognize the numeric number that you pass to Python. This is a default data type mapping. But sometimes the mapping doesn't work like correctly to convert your data type. So you'll create some troublesome for you. Maybe you will get the error in the Python script. For example, you want to call Python script in MATLAB, then you pass a data type to contain a array to run in the Python, but the Python doesn't convert the data type correctly. Then in the Python script, you'll cause the error, then your system doesn't work well. So the main reason over here is like because you want to pass the appropriate data type to the Python script. So in MATLAB, we define the Python data type first, then you put in the necessary information here, and then you pass the data type to Python to run the Python script. Okay, and then the second reason is because the return result, right, sometimes you'll be in the Python data type. So we need to understand the mapping also, like how can I change the return result in Python data type to a MATLAB data type for further process. Yeah, let's continue. Yeah, so now we go back to our example over here that this MATLAB researcher going to extract the stock price data through the Python script and load them into the MATLAB. So we come back to MATLAB environment here. Yeah, let me play the video. So over here, you can see this MATLAB script. Then the coding is inside the box. Okay, so the coding inside we assign the start date, the stop date, the stock price, the starting date, and the stock price, the stop date. And you can see by again, this by specify this is a Python script. Doc data lib. Doc data lib. You look at my left hand side, the current folder. You can see there's a Python script, data lib.py. Am I right? So actually, doc data lib is pointing to this, and the get price data is the function inside the Python script. Okay, let's take a look at the Python script first. So I go to the folder. Yeah, let me see. I skip too fast. Yeah, so I go to a folder to open the Python script in the notepad. Yeah, here you go. Let me pause a while here. So you can see in this Python script, right, there are two functions. First function is a get price data and 3 arguments. Okay, and the second function is a paste JSON, then 1 argument. So basically, the first function, like, you help us to get the product data type, the product stock price. So the product is ETH, is a type of the cryptocurrency. Okay, so you help us to get this cryptocurrency price from this time until this time. Then this is a Python packages. Okay, they use these two packages to get the data, and then at the end they return us the result. They return the result in a JSON data type, JSON data. Okay, so JSON data in Python actually is a list data type. And another function, let's see this. Let's see another function. So let's see another function in the file. Another function in the file is going to extract some information from this return. So in the first function, like, actually extract the stock price data, but the stock price data include time, low price of the day, high price of the day, open price of the stock price, closing price, and the volume. Okay, but what we need is only the time and the closing price. So the second function help you to extract the information, the time and the close price, and don't want the rest of the information like low, high, open, and volume. Okay, just remember that in this script we got two Python function, and then at the end of this second function, you return the result in a dictionary. The date and the close, they put into a dictionary data type and then return to the MATLAB later. Okay, let's run this script in command prompt. I just want to demonstrate to you that actually the script is success to run in Python. Yeah. So over here, you go to the folder. Yeah. Okay, so after that, you launch Python in the command prompt, and then you can see the Python version here. And then you are going to call this function. So first of all, you need to import the data lib. This is how the Python function work out. Python language work out. First, you need to import the data, the package. Yeah, MATLAB, it doesn't need to import the package because everything is inside the IDE. Okay. Then the second, you're going to call the function inside the package. Here we go. Yeah. Now the first error because I didn't specify the package. So I'm going to specify the package in front of the get price data. Yep, and display the result. Yep. So over here you can see you got a lot of result. So this is like the time, the unit time representation. I think this one is a low price, high price, open price, close price, and volume. But it doesn't need so much information. So you call another script to help us to extract the time and the close price. Yep. So over here you can see I'm calling another script. So after this, I only get the date and the close price data. So this represented the date and the second one represents the close price, and they are in the dictionary data type. So now we come back to MATLAB here. Okay, so again, I think I have explained to you about this, like the by.data lib, and then get price is the function into the Python package, and then the product, the first argument, second argument, and the third argument. And then you can see the result is written in the Python list. Okay, let me move further. So after this, you still need to call the second Python function, right? Because you just want to get the date and the close price data. So now we call the second Python function. And over here, you can see the JSON data type is a Python list. You directly put the Python list into the argument. Yeah, this is what I call to pass the appropriate data type to the Python. So we ensure that there's no error. So after that, you can see you get the data in the Python dictionary. So Python dictionary can be represented as a structure in MATLAB. So I'm going to put a structure to convert the Python dictionary data type to MATLAB data type called data. Then you get two information, date and the close price. Am I right? Then after that, this is a MATLAB stuff. I'm going to convert the structure data type to a table. Sorry for this. I'm going to convert the structure data type to table data type in MATLAB. Yeah, so the function is defined at the end of the script. So this is a difference between Python and MATLAB. Python, you need to define the function first at the beginning of the script, and then but MATLAB, we define the function at the end of the script. So this is a function to convert the structure data type to a table data type in MATLAB. So let's back to here. Something I would like to highlight is table data type. You will feel that table data type is really wonderful in MATLAB, that they put everything in like really good view for you. Yeah, so you are proud of it, especially for data type. So let's move on. So after you get a data type, then you can you use this function called date time to convert from the units time representation to a proper date time representation. Yeah, I can see MATLAB actually is very easy. Only one function help you to convert the units time representation to a date time representation. So after that, you got a proper date time representation. Yeah, proper date time representation. So let's move further. Then you can visualize the the stock price. Use the function here, plot the figure. Yeah, the date versus the close price. Here you go. Yep, now we know how to call Python script for MATLAB, right? Just very simple. By and the packages dot data lib and then dot the function name inside the package, and then argument vector we structure them in the Python data type. So you ensure that there's nothing goes wrong when you run the Python script. So let's go further. So after the MATLAB researcher get the data, now he can build his algorithm or machine learning model to predict the stock price. I'm not going into the detail how the researcher built the machine learning model to predict the stock price, but the reference is here. You can refer to reference. Instead of that, today you are focusing on the integrations. But I would like to give you some reason that why this MATLAB researcher will choose MATLAB. So over here there are 7 reasons MATLAB is the easiest and most productive environment for engineers and scientists. So first, MATLAB is a mathematical language, so we especially target for engineers, scientists. So engineers, scientists need a programming language that lets them express the matrix and the array and the mathematically directly. So linear algebra in MATLAB is intuitive and concise, and the same is true for data analytics like signal and image processing, control design, and other applications. And this is the reason why more than like 1,500 the textbooks teach those domain in MATLAB. Yeah, we are very rich in documentation and example. And MATLAB toolboxes just work out. So MATLAB toolboxes offer professional develop. We done the rigorously testing and ensure that the function that really work out without any error. And MATLAB got a lot of GUI applications, so you don't need to code everything by yourself. This is also one of the reasons I love MATLAB. And also this one the reason why I use this in my master project. Use MATLAB to build the machine learning model in my master project because it's really fast, help me to prototype the result. And MATLAB integrates workflow. MATLAB is end-to-end workflow. So from access your data, pre-processing your data, build a machine learning, deep learning model, or build the analytic model. Or then at the end, you got two ways. Either you publish to the hardware board, deploy on the hardware board, or publish to the cloud enterprise system. So you can generate like desktop application, web application, and etc. And MATLAB is fast. Yeah. And the last one is MATLAB is like really trustable because you really spend a lot of time to verify the coding, ensure they are really trustable. We verify them so that ensure there's no error in the coding. So like give you some example, like engineers and scientists, they trust MATLAB to send like egg the spacecraft to the universe, or they match the transplant patients with the organ donors, or just compile a report for the management. Yeah, so a team of the networks engineers will continuously verifies the quality by running millions of testing on the MATLAB code base every day. Okay, let's go to the second one, calling MATLAB from Python. As this in the agenda, you can see that there are multiple ways to call MATLAB from Python. So let me explain further their differences. For MATLAB Engine API, after the IT guys get the MATLAB script, so he needs to install the MATLAB in his own IT computer for this setup or server. What with the MATLAB license? Once it has been set up, now the IT person can call the MATLAB from Python via the MATLAB Engine API. Yeah. So this so before they calling the MATLAB Engine, calling MATLAB from Python, like he need to do some installation in the Python first. So basically, this one is to install the MATLAB API package in Python. Let's go through this one. So you can see there's a script developed by the MATLAB user. Okay. I'm not going through the script content here. So over the script, you can see there are 4 arguments. Okay. The 4 input argument. So this is a script that written by the MATLAB researcher. But at the end of the script, right, the MATLAB will encode the result to the JSON format and return to the price, and the price is the output of the function. Okay, now we go to the Python there, Python script. So you can see in the file there's a Python calling MATLAB.py Python script. So we open this file. Yeah, let me go through this for you first. So there's a define function at the beginning of the script, and we import the datalib. Datalib is the package, is a Python script that helps us to get the stock price data. Okay, let me move further. Yep. So this is a datalib. Just now the Python script that we have seen. Okay, go back to the Python calling MATLAB.py. So after you import 2 packages, then you start to get the data into the JSON data, and then check the date and the cost price into the data PTC, and for other stock as well for ETH, LTC, and PCH. So you'll call 4 different financial product and get their stock price, and then put into the different variable. Yep, let's proceed. So this is important. This is like how we call the MATLAB engine. So over here, we import the MATLAB engine and initialize the MATLAB engine. Yeah, you can see very simple. After you success the installation, this is how you connect the MATLAB engine. It's very straightforward from Python. Okay, so after this, this tool is how can you put the value into the MATLAB workspace MATLAB engine. Yeah, so you can go through these 2 steps to put the variable path to the MATLAB workspace. So, but this, okay, over here. So, and then the next one, you convert the list. the Python data type to a MATLAB data type. This is what I'm always say, that you need to define the data type first before we pass to Python or pass to MATLAB. Now we are going to pass to MATLAB. So we convert the Python data type to MATLAB data type. So MATLAB.double, we convert the list to a double array, then assign to PTC, assign to ETH, assign to LTC, and assign to PCH. Okay, and the next one is you are going to call this function, this MATLAB function. So very simple. You just put MATLAB.engine, the package name. Sorry for this. It's MATLAB.engine over here. So MATLAB.engine dot predict price. Predict price is the function name of the MATLAB function in MATLAB. So PTC first argument, second argument, third and fourth, and then you get the result in the price data. And the price data this MATLAB researcher is very kind. It already help you to encode the return result in the JSON data type. So JSON data type is a list data type in Python, so you no need to convert again for Python to continue use. So over here, after that, we print the result. Let me call the Python script in com. So I open the com, I go to the path, yeah, to call the Python script. Yeah. Do you see this? Yeah, Python calling matlab.py. This is how I run the Python in the com. Yep, and then you get the result. Then the result, you can see the date, and this is the prediction price. This machine learning predict in this state the price going to be like this. Yeah, so you can make the decision like, if let's say you are going to earn money, then today I'm going to buy. Yeah. Here we go. So the highlight here I want to tell you is the data type conversion. You need to take note about this. How can you pass the data to MATLAB from Python? Data type conversion. How you handle the data return from MATLAB to Python? Again, data type conversion. Next one, you are going to use a second method called MATLAB runtime. So you might have a question that what is the difference between MATLAB API, the first approach, and the MATLAB runtime? In the first approach for MATLAB API, you need to install MATLAB with license in the IT machine. However, for MATLAB runtime, the IT server does not need to have a MATLAB license. Instead of that, the IT server required to install MATLAB runtime. But MATLAB runtime is free for every machine. The MATLAB researcher will have, so for this workflow, the MATLAB researcher here, he need to compile his script to a Python package first through a MATLAB product called MATLAB Compiler SDK. And then later is royalty free for him to distribute the Python packages to everyone or his colleague. So his colleague or the IT person can open the Python called the MATLAB compile Python packages without the need to have a MATLAB license in the computer. Okay, so this is a little bit difference in the architecture and the MATLAB licensing. Okay, how can the MATLAB researcher compile the MATLAB package into the Python package, compile the MATLAB script into the Python package? Let's see this. So this is a GUI application. I think you know this is a script, right? This is a script written by the Python researcher. So I'm not going to spend the time on this. Yeah. So after this, there's a lot of GUI application. You open a library compiler here. Yeah. Then the GUI application will be popped up. What you need to do is, you can see over here, you are not only able to compile to Python, you also can compile to Java, .NET. There are more in the list. So for this demo, you are going to select the Python package, then select the MATLAB script. Yeah, here you go. Then after that, just package. Just click package, then the process will be running. Yeah. Okay, I need to install the MATLAB runtime. That's why this is the first time I'm here. Yeah, I package again after installing the MATLAB runtime, because as I told you, a MATLAB runtime is necessary to be installed. So after you compile into a package, you'll get the Python package look like this. Yeah, you get this folder, this output of the GUI applications. Then you'll get the Python package like this. Yeah, there's a Python setup file here. So you need to pass this for distribution found only to your IT person, then IT person need to install this, your Python package into their Python. Okay, let's go on. So after the IT install your MATLAB Compound SDK Python package, and then the IT also install the MATLAB runtime as an engine to run the package. Then see how can the IT call the MATLAB Compound SDK Python package. So I'm over here. I'm just tell you that the IT need to install the setup, the compile Python package. Yeah. So in the script, there's a calling package library Python. Okay, this is how the IT person going to call the MATLAB compile SDK Python package. Yeah, let me move further because I found that I a bit less of time. So, but it's okay. But I think the less you should understand, like this is exactly what we did in the second approach. We get the data, then transform the data to extract the date and the close price. It's exactly the same. So the most important is how we call the MATLAB compile SDK Python package. So over here you can see we import the MATLAB engine. But this is not MATLAB engine. This is just import call MATLAB, slightly different, and import the compile SDK package. Then after that, we initialize the runtime over here. Then we convert the Python data type to MATLAB data type. Then put into the function. So .m initialize the runtime. .m the function name. Predict price, the function name, and then PTC, ETH, LTC, BCH, the argument. Then you get the result in the price data, which is in the JSON format, and JSON format is a list data type in Python. Yeah, so that's all. Yeah. So I hope you can take away the key difference between the first approach and second approach. The first approach is the IT need to install MATLAB with license in their server machine. The second approach is the MATLAB doesn't need to have the MATLAB license. You only need to distribute the MATLAB compile SDK Python package to him. Then he go to install the MATLAB runtime, which is free, download from internet, and then he can call your function in the Python script. All right, let's move further. So the last one is how to call MATLAB from Python via a production server. It is enterprise level, which is more robust to serve like thousands or hundreds of the front-end user. So MATLAB production server allows you to incorporate like custom analytics into the web database and production enterprise application running on the dedicated servers or in the cloud. You can create the algorithms in MATLAB and package them using the MATLAB compiler SDK to a format called SCDF file, then deploy them to MATLAB production server. Okay. Then the users can access your applications through the web page. And the one of the key advantages is for MATLAB production server is, let's say any changes he made, like the IT person doesn't need to do anything. What he need to do is, because the system is already be set up very, very properly. So after you complete the new script, then you just need to compile it into a format called .cdf. He pass the .cdf into the server, then it's considered auto deployed, and you'll be displayed in in the front end. But let's say you use the first and second approach, right? Maybe you still need to load the package to replace the compile package and to do some changes on the Python script. For the IT person to refresh or update the latest analytic script that coming out from the Python user. Yeah, so MATLAB production server can help you to do the auto deployment. Yeah, this is one of the key advantages. I'm not going to go through this video, but let's say you are interested to see how can MATLAB work with like enterprise level. for web application, then you're welcome to watch it by yourself. In the YouTube link is here. So the key advantage of, let me talk a little bit more about MPS, MATLAB Production Server. So MATLAB Production Server can generate a HTTP link. If you are coming from IT, then you perhaps understand about this HTTP link. So the function is your MATLAB script convert to .cdf file, then the .cdf file you put inside the MATLAB Production Server. Then you generate a RESTful API. So the RESTful API allow you to connect to a lot of different front end. You can connect to Java, C++, Python, .NET, as long as they support the RESTful API. Then the RESTful API can help you to connect like Spotfire, Tableau, Power BI, and etc. Yeah, and MATLAB Production Server, you can scale up to multiple machines. So you can, because it can scale up to multiple machines, so you can serve a lot user. A lot, like up to 400 people access the website at the same time, and the backend is running MATLAB. I offer some options for data type conversion and show some information about the documentation, how to do a data type conversion. But this really cause a lot of questions. A lot of people still will ask about this. You don't see the data. If let's say you don't see a data type support natively that you can call natively, that means some data type, right, is not in our documentation. We don't support to convert the Python data type, the specific Python data type to MATLAB. Sometimes this is the best option. Yeah, to build a storage file between MATLAB and Python. Okay, so you can use this. We recommend you to use this Apache PackQ to store and transfer data between MATLAB and Python, because this storage is really very effective to work with MATLAB and Python on the large data type, on the large data set, a huge amount of data set. So over here, there's some example documentation for you to get the further information, and also got a GitHub example, yeah, for you to read to get further information. And yeah, you still got a few more minutes, so let me talk about my case study, my master project. So in MATLAB, let's say you train your deep learning in MATLAB, then actually you can export to the ONNS model. So over here you can see ONNS model can connect with a different framework. TensorFlow is in Python, Caffe2, PyTorch is also Python package, SNet, CoML, Channel, and Cognitive Toolkit. So what is the reason that I want to convert MATLAB to ONNS? Because I want to use this Python web framework called Flash. You see this? So this Flash will help me to get the real life data, the Singapore and Malaysia crossway, the bridge, the traffic photo, the photo from a Singapore LT government organization. So you can get the real data and do the prediction and tell us how is the traffic right now through the image process, through the image deep learning. Yeah. So please allow me to have 1 minute to show my project to you. So over here you can see this is my Anaconda pawn, which is running the Flash. The Flash is the Python web framework. Yep, it is running, and then the front end will be look like this. Yeah, so this is a Singapore to Johor causeway. So actually, it's happened the real time. So over here, let me refresh again because it expands. Yeah. So this happened in the real life, but try to imagine that actually at the back end, I use MATLAB to train the model. Because I'm familiar with MATLAB, so I use MATLAB to train the deep learning model. Then after that, I export to ONNS. Then ONNS work with the Python web framework, the Flash, to help me to build up the real time, the web application. Yeah, and over here tell you how is the traffic condition on this first photo, the traffic condition on the second photo, and combine the result together. Yeah. Let me go back to my presentation script, presentation slide. So yeah, a lot of people you ask about how to integrate with Anaconda. So just now, so how to call MATLAB engine from Anaconda, like Jupyter Notebook, Spider. Yeah, so over here the setup here is a guide for you how to install MATLAB engine in Anaconda. So you open your Anaconda prompt, then here's some guideline for you. So you just follow the guideline. I think you can success to call MATLAB from Anaconda, from your Spider, from your Jupyter Notebook. So for MATLAB compiler, this is for MATLAB API. So for MATLAB compiler Python package, you just need to modify the step number 5 and step number 6. Step number 5 is go to your location of your compile Python package and then install the Python package instead of the install the MATLAB engine. Yeah. So this is a summary today. Today we have go through like few demo, like how to call Python libraries for MATLAB, how to call MATLAB from Python through 3 methods via MATLAB engine API. This requires the server machine to have MATLAB with license. Through MATLAB runtime, doesn't need to have the server machine doesn't need to have a MATLAB license. MATLAB production server for enterprise solution. And additional information like data management, deep learning, ONNS model, case study, traffic. I give an example of a case study, traffic monitoring. I give you some hints how to integrate with like Anaconda. So actually, MATLAB and Python, you're not fighting each other. You love each other. Yeah, you can work together very well. So no problem for this. My marketing team will send you the link. So let us know how is the presentation, how is our webinar. So your feedback is really appreciated. So you can continuous to improve our webinar and the content. And how to differentiate us and open source, I think you got a lot of documentation, you got that support. If you got any question, you just reach out us, then we will try our best to reply, to give you the best answer and reply our answer. So in the website, you also can ask your question in the MATLAB answer. Yeah, so a lot of people actually they'll answer your question in the MATLAB answer. So this is our community platform. We also provide some consulting services to help on your project. Let's say you don't want to do it by yourself, then you can reach out us then to see our consulting services. Hi guys, I apologize that I overrun the webinar around 3 minutes. So we don't have a time for the Q&A. So, but no worries about this. Let's say you got any questions you don't understand or you want to ask, you can type in the chat box right now, and then my marketing team will compile them, and then after that you'll reply to your question one by one. So let's say you have any question, type your question in the chat box. We will reply to you after this webinar. That's it, okay? Yep. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your attendance. Yeah, and have a nice day. See you. Bye. We will still be here for another 5 minutes. If let's say you got any questions, just type them into the chat box. Then we'll reply to you after the webinar. If nothing else, you can leave. See you.